I also think one of your biggest strengths, even though you kind of self-deprecatingly say that three idiots, I think a big advantage is you didn't have to unlearn something.
You're absolutely right. I didn't go about doing a lot, but there was some. So culture is something that you have to unlearn, right? So I'll give you an example. The first employee we took on, Srinivas, he heads our operations today. He's a key member of my team. His salary when we took him on in his previous organization, which we were taking over, was 15,000 rupees a month. And we upped it to 25,000 because he was to be Mr. Ops for us. And we said, something is wrong, right? If you get to Bombay and financial services, that's about the salary or package that an entry-level typist would get, a good quality front-end person would get. Nowhere near what we think you're going to start a venture with. And you come from private equity backgrounds, you've seen salaries in 8 digits and so on and so forth. And you're saying something is wrong, right? There must be some catch to this, to that extent. And we're saying, is there something we need to worry about? What if he quits? Should we have to give him equity? And suddenly you realize that people here in the old economy engineering industry are driven by good quality work. They're driven by the passion of doing what you're doing. You give them a greater platform to do what he's doing, and that would keep him going all day, all year. Is he ambitious? Oh, bloody ambitious. Does he want to grow? Of course he wants to grow. Is it all about the money? No. That's never the case. And this is a huge unlearning for idiots from the financial services world. But we learned that through. But most of what you're saying is absolutely right. For us, the fact that we were going into a new industry meant that the technical side, the supply chain, knowing what are the key drivers, took us some learning. But again, this is something we had done as a consultant or as an investor before, right? You go in and say, tell me the top 10 things I should worry about in this industry, what matters, what not. Do your SWOT, manage that piece, and only focus on things that drive value. After some time, it became very clear to us what are the key drivers of this industry.
You are also going into charging stations. Is that another pivot that we are seeing?
This story is not new. In the last 2 years, a lot of charging stations have been set up across India. Yeah. And what are they doing? They're waiting for some electric vehicle to come and get itself charged. Are they making money? I don't think so. There's really no chance because there aren't as many vehicles there. For us, it has always been about making money. And this is super important as a culture of the firm. We get very upset if we lose money on a single project. From the first year of inception, Anu, in 2010, our first balance sheet was built after 4 or 5 months of the firm from October to March. From that first year, we've been net profitable, not just EBITDA positive. We've been net profitable. And it's a culture we haven't ever let go of. I mean, I was doing the numbers from the firm last week and still not completely finalized. But even after the Corona impact, we will be positive this year. So, I mean, this is something that we're super keen about. And we said, if we have to enter any new line of business, I have to know whether it is making money. I'm not here to play the so-called valuation game. I firmly believe, given especially that we came from the financial services world, that money is like water. It will flow to where there is value or where the levels rate. If you have not built yourself a profitable business, there is no reason why any money will come. But for us, the business has to make sense. And so when we decided what we have to do in the electric vehicle space, we said the biggest issue with electric vehicle charging infrastructure is where is the demand? Where are the vehicles? It is in the four-wheeler segment that there is value that we can add. But in the four-wheeler segment, where are people making money is a question that we were posing. So there we found a company called Lithium Cabs. They're based in Bangalore, run by another colleague of mine. And they provide cabs for the same customers that we do. So they go to these same C&I customers and offer to them the option to move their executives in a clean, safe way. But at a price cheaper than a diesel vehicle would. So the exact same proposition that I take for a power reduction, it was what he was taking for transportation cost reduction. And they were operating a fleet of electric vehicles. And we said, let's build charging hubs for lithium cabs to come and get themselves charged in. So each hub that we build has around 20-30 cars that can get charged at the same time. And it is about quick turnaround. It's about operations management. Simply put, we said, let's do a 50-50 joint venture. You consume all the power that I bring to the hub. And so you're the captive consumer. Both of us will contribute equally and build the charging infrastructure. The strategic value of this is, of course, there. I mean, India is has made a commitment that it is heading in that direction by, the numbers 2030 and so on. However, I think the ecosystem now has to stand up and make that migration happen, because we have to do a few things to make sure that this story gets compelling.
Yeah.
I like a crisis like this, because the crisis like this will force everybody to get cost conscious and environmental conscious, and both of which is meaning that increasing adoption of electric vehicles will come up.